Incompetence to do God's work. Shri Phani asked, I feel I'm incompetent to do God's work. Please advise. Swami replied, O learned and devoted servants of God. The doctor gives an antibiotic tablet to cure the patient's fever. But the medicine has side effects such as constipation, hyperacidity, and weakness, since the medicine not only kills bacteria, but it also damages some healthy tissues. Hence, along with the antibiotic, some antacid to control the hyperacidity and some vitamin B complex for overcoming weakness are also given to the patient. The antibiotic will not cure the hyperacidity, and the antacid will not cure the fever. Similarly, feeling incompetent works to eradicate the ego. But this feeling has a side effect, and it is to reduce the person's enthusiasm to work for God. To overcome this side effect, another medicine must also be given, which is praising the person. Krishna condemned Arjuna to cure his ego disease by saying, Yadahankaram ashritya nayotsya iti manyase, and so on. But Krishna also praised Arjuna as being one with himself to encourage Arjuna to fight bravely. He said to him in the Gita, Pandavanam Dhananjaya. And then later on in the 16th chapter, he also said, Ma shuchas sampadam daivim abhijatosi pandav. Theoretical knowledge produces theoretical inspiration or devotion. This is referred to as sannyasa or sankhya. This theoretical phase is one path. The second path is that of practical service with the sacrifice of the fruit of one's work, which is called yoga or karma yoga. Arjuna was confused regarding these two paths. He thought that they are two alternative paths and that one could reach the same goal by any one of these two paths. He felt that way since Krishna had said that both paths lead to the same goal. Yat sankhyaif prapyate sthanam tad yogairapi gamyate. And then elsewhere he says, Sannyasa karma yogascha nishreyasa karavubhau. Many people have the same confusion that Arjuna had. But the fact is that God has already clarified this confusion by saying that both paths are one and the same. He says, Ekam Sankhyancha Yogancha. It means that these two paths are not two alternative lines leading to the same point, but they are two line segments joined together to form a single line. It's a single line having a first part and a second part. Knowledge generates devotion in the first part, and devotion generates practice in the second part. Shankara, who emphasized knowledge, and Ramanuja, who emphasized devotion, form the first part. Madhva, who emphasized practical service with sacrifice, forms the second part. It's worth noting that the three divine preachers came in that same sequence. Confused people think that one can reach the same goal either through the purely devotional theoretical phase or the purely practical phase. A pure theoretical scholar thinks that he can reach the goal directly through knowledge alone. A pure devotee also thinks that he will directly reach the goal through his devotion. A rich man thinks that he will directly reach the goal through the sacrifice of his wealth, which is called karma phalatyaga. And a healthy man thinks that he can directly reach the goal through physical service, which is karma sannyasa. Actually, practice in the spiritual path is called karma yoga, and it involves service, which is known as karma sannyasa, and the sacrifice of one's hard-earned wealth, which is known as karma phalatyaga. The service is like the certificate of one's qualifications, and the sacrifice of one's wealth is like the certificate of one's work experience. Both must be enclosed as proof along with any job application. The application itself is comparable to the theoretical phase involving both knowledge and devotion. The job is like the attainment of God's grace, which is the fruit of the person's spiritual effort. Both the application and the proof, which is the certificates, are essential for the job interview. The job interview is the test given by God before granting the job, which is the fruit. The devotee must feel that his service to God itself is the fruit. There cannot be another fruit for enjoying that fruit. You cannot claim a salary for doing the work of drawing your salary. Practice is the mango plant, which alone gives the fruit directly. Knowledge is the water and devotion is the manure. Without water, the plant will die. But even 100 tanks of water cannot directly yield even a single fruit in the absence of the plant. Without manure, the plant will not grow. But even 100 bags of manure cannot yield even a single fruit in the absence of the plant. Of course, the plant alone, without any water or manure, cannot give a fruit either. So all the three are essential, and they form a single path to attain the goal, which is the mango fruit. With the incompetence felt by you, destroy your ego. The feeling of incompetence will help you get rid of the ego of the doer. Then God will enter into you and do the work. You will gain immense confidence that you are God. This confidence will be given to you by Him. In fact, you will become God, since He will enter into you and merge with you to do the work. When Krishna said he is Arjuna, it was a fact. But when God quits you after doing the work, you should come back to your state of incompetence again in order to live in the world without ego. Thus, as you do your work, you should feel that you are God who is doing His own work. Such a feeling is not false, because God enters and merges with you to do that work. This feeling is not ego. It is only helping you gain confidence. But this feeling becomes true only when you do some good work and not when you do some bad work. In this manner, you have to use the proper medicine at the proper time to cure a specific problem. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that propagating divine spiritual knowledge pleases the Lord greatly. Jnana yajnena tenaham. Spiritual knowledge brings about permanent harmony and peace in the world. So join us in sharing this universal divine knowledge of Lord Datta and earn the highest grace of God.